Hi, I'm Daniel, and I made this presentation to help men who are in the same desperate situation I was in a few short years ago. I know exactly how bad you feel and the painful embarrassment you've suffered because you can't last long enough to satisfy your partner in bed, but all that is about to change for you completely, and you'll never have to worry about your endurance during sex again. I'm going to show you how to last over 30 minutes longer in bed, no matter if you can't even last more than a few seconds right now. You see, research shows that it takes the average woman about 10 to 15 minutes to reach an orgasm during sexual intercourse. So if right now you're unable to last at least that long in bed, the chances that you are not fully satisfying your partner sexually are very high, and this can cause many negative consequences in your relationship, such as your wife or girlfriend cheating on you, or leaving you for another man that can satisfy her. Maybe you're in a situation right now where you can't even get a girlfriend to begin with because of this issue. But listen, it doesn't matter what situation you're in or if you think you've tried every solution possible to get rid of this problem and nothing has worked for you. The information I'm going to share with you here is different from everything else you've read or heard about online. It has the power to permanently reverse your premature ejaculation and make you gain full control over your orgasms, which in turn can allow you to have sex for up to as long as you want. So if right now you're unable to last at least 15 minutes in bed, I strongly urge you to watch this video until the very end because I'm going to give you the exact same system I use to go from lasting less than 30 seconds in bed to over 30 minutes longer within 2 weeks. By the end of the first week of using this system, I was already able to last for more than 15 minutes and no longer had to worry about being a complete wimp to women in bed. Whether you want to give your wife multiple orgasms, impress a hot woman in bed, or you just want to have a normal life filled with amazing and long, satisfying sex, free from the constant worry about your endurance, you'll find what you need right here. But first, let me tell you about how I came across this amazing discovery that I've always wanted so badly since puberty. Do we have a deal? Okay. You see, up until a few years ago, my greatest trouble in life came from trying to find and keep a girl I can spend the rest of my life with. But if I was going to keep a girlfriend for more than one night, I knew I had to last longer in bed. This became my obsession. I tried everything in my power: therapy, alternative medicine, even magic pills and special foods, but nothing seemed to work. No matter what I did, I couldn't spend longer than 2 minutes inside a woman. I knew that if I didn't do something about it soon, I was going to live my days alone. Right now you might be wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to him? Well, I'll tell you right now that I'm just a regular guy. You won't see my face on TV or hear my voice on the radio. I'm an ordinary man, just like you, who suffered the humiliation of premature ejaculation for years before I finally did something about it. After extensive research and testing every trick and product on the market, I discovered the most effective strategy to improve stamina, have better sex, and effective lasting control over my ejaculation. Now, keep in mind, there's nothing special about me, and yet I was able to solve my problem in a matter of weeks using just a few simple techniques. The same techniques and strategies I used to cure my premature ejaculation will work for you too. How do I know? Because I've taught these same practices to tens of thousands of guys from all around the world who have used them to achieve the same results. Lots of guys believe, like I did, that there's something wrong with them, that they were the only ones with a problem like this, that nothing will help. But the truth is that you're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to learn a few tricks that will rewire your brain and condition you to last longer in bed, and you'll begin to see massive gains in your sexual endurance. This has worked for thousands of guys before you, and you have every reason to believe this will work for you too. As for how I came across this amazing life-changing breakthrough, here's my story. It starts a few weeks before my high school prom when I met the most beautiful woman that my eyes had ever seen. She was a scorching hot redhead, and her physical development was light years ahead of all the other girls our age. After seeing her, all I could think about was getting her in bed. At the time, I was still confident around girls, so I started talking to her, and within a few weeks, she invited me over to her place. When I got there, things got real hot, real quick. One thing led to another, and before too long, we found ourselves in the bedroom. All was going well through the kissing and the undressing, but when the moment of truth arose and it was time to slide in, I lost it. I had no idea what happened, but was smart enough to know that this was not how it was supposed to go. I began to apologize profusely, telling her she was just too much for me to handle. She smiled and said it was okay and that it happens to everyone. I left that night angry with myself and very confused. Since that was my first time, I desperately hoped that my stamina would simply get better with experience. Even now, after so many years, I become upset when I remember that night and the many nights that followed. Now, however, I'm not upset with myself, but rather with the entire medical community. For years, they failed to give me a solution to my problem. If only somebody had told me what I know now, I would have been saved from a lot of misery and shame. As if this experience wasn't bad enough, the next day at school I discovered I had a new nickname, Quick Draw. At first it was just a few people, a few comments in the hall here and there, but the term spread like wildfire, and soon even my friends were making fun of me all the time. They didn't even try to hide it. I had a tough time finding girls who would endure so much as a conversation with Quick Draw, let alone a date. The torment continued for the rest of the school year and beyond. Kids are cruel, and teenage boys are the worst. My only option, as embarrassing as it is to admit, was to hide. I went straight home from school every day. When I wasn't skipping class, I was sitting in the first seat in front of the teacher, doing everything in my power to ignore the cruel torture. Obviously, I didn't go to prom. As a final act of liberation, immediately after graduation, I moved away. I chose the biggest city on the map, packed my bags, and hoped to bury all that shame and frustration in the past. I escaped the bullies and the reputation of my problem, but I took the problem itself with me. It was impossible for me to even think about sex without seeing flashes of my humiliating performance. At that moment, I didn't know what to think, let alone what to do. Even today, I wish I could erase those painful memories from my brain. But had I not gone through that experience, I would have never stumbled across my amazing discovery. The discovery that changed my life and can do the same for you. After moving out, I got into a pretty good college. For a while, things were looking up. New place, new friends, and there was nobody who knew my past. It was everything I could have hoped for. At first, I tried sleeping with a few other girls I had met, hoping that my original Quick Draw was just first-time anxiety, but the problem persisted. After a few embarrassing nights, finishing in less than a minute and leaving my dates disappointed and unsatisfied, I decided not to risk it anymore. It was only a matter of time until some girl told everyone, and it would be high school all over again. So, for a long time, I avoided approaching any girls. Although I still wanted to flirt, still dreamed of taking girls home, I couldn't bear making the same mistake I did back home. Every time I saw a hot chick, I refused to even turn my head. My new friends were beginning to think I was gay. This didn't bother me as they were at least mature about it. It was incorrect, but at least it wasn't an insult like Quick Draw. In a few minutes, I'll reveal to you how my life changed and how you can change yours. By following a few yet wildly effective steps, you too will be able to last a lot longer in bed almost immediately. And when I say a lot longer, I really mean it. By using these same techniques I'm about to teach you, I am now able to last for as long as I want in bed. So make sure to keep following along. Back to the story. Months had passed and I suddenly realized all my time was dedicated to studying and other boring matters. I don't consider school or work to be useless, but there are more important things in life. Things like not dying alone as a semi-virgin. I don't know if it was my mother constantly asking, "When are you going to get a girlfriend?" or the jealousy of seeing my friends with their girlfriends, but one day, something inside me snapped. I stopped ignoring my problem and determined to finally do something about it. I started to dig up information from all over. I ordered a dozen books and 3 packs of pills from various sources. I started to read and take notes vigorously. After a month or so, I grew confident and decided that it was time to try again. I went out looking for a beautiful girl to take home. My pickup skills were a bit rusty, but within a few days, I came across a pretty girl at a party who seemed interested. I summoned my newfound confidence and took her to my apartment. Things moved quickly, and in no time, we were laying naked in bed with an overwhelming desire to explode with pleasure. I was confident and relaxed, and when I first entered her, I actually thought I had a chance. Want to know the duration I obtained from a month of research and popping all kinds of pills? 2 minutes. That was it. She was kind about it, but her pity was worse than her obvious disappointment. The next day, I was furious. After failing once again, I felt more determined than ever to find a cure for this condition. I did the only rational thing I could think of and went to the doctor. I listened to him for about half an hour and left with a prescription which I couldn't read due to his bad handwriting. I went straight to the pharmacy only to discover I was given the blue pill. I felt like a 70-year-old man, but I sucked it up and gave it a try. The pill helped me last for about 6 minutes, which for me was a miracle. For my beautiful new girlfriend, however, it was less than impressive. She dropped me like a ton of bricks. I never tried that pill again. One of the nasty side effects was 3 full days as feeling as though my head would explode. It wasn't worth it, so I decided to find a new path. I tried everything under the sun to solve this problem, but nothing seemed to work. To make matters worse, every girl I brought home either left me after the first night or cheated on me. I learned the hard way that no matter how well you treat a woman, no matter how much fun you have together or how many flowers you buy, if you can't last long enough to satisfy her in bed, she's definitely going to leave you or cheat on you. I've heard about guys who cannot satisfy their women and are okay with them finding other men to fulfill their sexual needs. I couldn't imagine myself in that position. I cannot see my wife going to sleep with another guy and returning home like nothing happened. I would never be okay with that. It was clear to me that I would not escape this problem by complaining or hoping for a miracle. So I hit the books once again. I searched for information all over the internet and tried every method listed. I tested an even wider variety of pills, creams, and special condoms. Some of it helped, a little, but nothing made a major difference. After a few months and a lot of money wasted, I started to feel even more rage and frustration. I remember thinking, how the hell could I ever meet the love of my life and start a family if I can't even satisfy a woman in bed? I started to believe there was something permanently wrong with me, that maybe I inherited a defective gene that doomed me to a life of always finishing too quickly. Then one day, it hit me. I had a breakthrough that transformed my life. I realized the whole problem was not my fault, nor was it a disease that I'd been struck with for the rest of my life. What do I mean? I'll explain. You know that moment when you go with the flow, so to speak? That second when your instinct takes over and your rational brain fades into the background? That's when premature ejaculation happens. I realized that if I can gain control over my mind in these moments, I'd have full control over my ejaculation. That's when I understood what was really going on. It was the moment I discovered how to make the change I needed to make my pain and heartache disappear. Let me explain this point to you in a bit more detail. Think for a moment about a stuntman. Do you think he feels an adrenaline rush on every stunt he does? No, because his training has taught him to control his unconscious mind. That's the problem with these so-called cures out there. They ignore your subconscious mind entirely, which makes no sense, since this is often where the problem with premature ejaculation lies, and it's also the reason why the techniques I discovered are so effective. After this breakthrough, I started to take control of what I was doing during sex. I began experimenting with different approaches and used a bit of knowledge from my early days of research. I changed everything about my approach and did exactly the opposite of what my instincts told me to do. And it worked. I suddenly felt like a man again, back in the driver's seat and no longer just a passenger in my body. Within a couple of days, I started to notice a big improvement. By modifying small but extremely important details, I was able to completely transform the way I had sex. I learned to hold off my orgasm from a couple of seconds to 5 minutes, then 8, 10, 15, and so on until I gained full control over my ejaculation. At the end of the trial period, as I called the first 2 weeks, I was already able to last for more than 30 minutes. I was no longer feeling depressed and ashamed. I became more self-confident, which made my relationships with women that much better. I'm not the only one whose relationships have been overall improved by this mindset. Tony, who wrote to me after trying my techniques, said I went from 20 seconds over 20 minutes in bed in only 1 week. I can't thank you enough. You absolutely saved my relationship. Not only has it improved our sex life, but it's changed how I feel about myself, giving me more confidence in improving our relationship as a whole. For me, the full benefits of longer stamina came to my head 7 years ago when I was visiting my folks back home. It was around Christmas and they wanted to organize a dinner party with my relatives. After a couple of hours in the company of my family, my cousin and I decided to drive to the hottest bar in town. It was there that I encountered the redhead I told you about earlier. Her name, by the way, is Lisa, and that night she was even more beautiful than when we were in high school. I had a few drinks with her, and after a bit of small talk, I decided it was time to save my reputation. I cannot let her remember me as Quick Draw for the rest of my life. One thing led to another, and we ended up renting a nearby hotel room. Now, I don't want to be too descriptive, but that night, I put her up against the wall, both literally and figuratively, and made her orgasm over and over again. With the skills I had learned and perfected, I managed to restore both my name and my pride. Mark, who wrote me with exciting news of his similar experience, said, "I managed to outlast my partner. Honestly, I used to only last 5 minutes at most, but most recently, my wife orgasmed 3 times and asked to stop before I could even ejaculate because she was too exhausted. It was amazing to know that we stopped because she was too satisfied." Now, it was still hard for me to forget about how bad Lisa humiliated me and ruined my final year of high school, so I couldn't help myself from asking her if I should go gossip with the guys about all the orgasms I made her get. I knew right away that this wasn't the smartest choice of words, but she took it with remorse. That's when I knew there was more to this girl than just her beauty. She ended up apologizing for the nickname and all the pain it had caused me, and perhaps because she had been so pleasantly surprised by my performance, we agreed to meet again. A few years later, Lisa and I got married. We now have a loving relationship with 2 beautiful children, and if you think that having kids took a toll on our sex life, think again. After all, I still have to make up for all the years I couldn't perform. My marriage to Lisa is a big part of the reason I decided to share my knowledge with you. I'm a happily married man out of the dating game with a satisfied and faithful wife. There's no reason for me to keep this secret. I remember the despair and embarrassment I felt when I was unable to last in bed. That is no way to live. That's why I want to share my knowledge with you. I don't want anyone to suffer the way I had to. If all the useful information had been gathered in one place back when I started, I could have found the solution to this problem in weeks, not years. All the false promises and useless advice made it nearly impossible to make any progress. I'm sometimes shocked that I was even able to get anywhere at all. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a couple of pills, ointments, gels, and condoms out there that can help you last a bit longer in bed, but they are outrageously expensive, unhealthy for you, and incredibly inconvenient. Take a cream, for example. These must be applied at least 10 minutes before having sex. Can you imagine picking up an attractive woman, taking her back to your place, and as she drags you into the bedroom, you're forced to say, "Sorry, I can't right now, you'll have to wait 10 minutes. These products leave no room for spontaneity. You'll have to plan every move, every detail of your night well out in advance. And to make things worse, the creams and condoms out there help you last longer in bed by numbing your penis. And so therefore, when you penetrate your partner, she will also get numb and sex won't feel very good for her at all, that she might now even end up confusing you for having a tiny penis, making the whole problem even worse. You also run the risk of becoming addicted to those ointments or pills, constantly forced to paying lots of money for a temporary fix that only gives you a few minutes more in bed. In summary, from the vigorous research and testing I've done, here's what I've learned. Premature ejaculation isn't your fault. The subconscious mind, which is 90% of your mind, regulates emotions you don't consciously control, like sexual arousal. If you never learn the special techniques for taking control of your subconscious mind, you'll continue to run on autopilot, meaning you will continue to ejaculate as quickly as possible. But unlike other sexual dysfunctions, the inability to last longer in bed can be cured without special medication because it isn't a biological disease. It is simply your subconscious working in the wrong way, but that can be fixed easily by retraining your mind. There are also physical causes of premature ejaculations, but again, the physical causes do not need pills or creams to fix them. If you don't know what they are or how to fix them, they can plague you for the rest of your life. But if you do know, the solution is simple. The fastest and most effective way to overcome premature ejaculation is to learn how to deal with the root causes of it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that so you can obtain maximum results in the shortest amount of time, improving your stamina by over 30 minutes in only 2 weeks of using the simple techniques I learned. Over the years, I've come to realize just how many men are going through the same troubles that tormented me. Rather than let the knowledge I gained die with me, I decided I may as well put it to good use, and I'm glad I did. The first success letter I got was all the proof I needed to feel good about sharing what I've learned. Jason wrote, "Thank you so much for sharing your method. I had tried every medication known to man, but when I started with your program, I could still only last 2 minutes at most. And now, after only the first 3 days of using the exercises, I'm already up to 12 to 15 minutes. My girlfriend is very happy about the results, and we both can't wait to see my continued improvement. So I'm happy to be able to offer all the stuff I have learned and compiled in the form of a step-by-step program. It's called Ultimate Stamina Control. This program is the definitive guide I wish I had when I was suffering from premature ejaculation. It will help you last longer in bed and gain the ability to satisfy any woman. With it, you'll have the chance to quickly transform into the man you deserve to be. In this program, you will not find magic pills or silly advice. You'll find detailed instructions on how to achieve the same results as I've achieved. You'll learn exercises that will rewire your brain and condition you to last a lot longer in bed really fast. You'll also learn to think about sex in a brand new way. It sounds silly, but after so much failure, your brain has been trained to believe that sex should be quick. I will show you how to change this part of your mind so that it no longer sabotages your sex life. William's testimonial speaks volumes on this. He said, I was skeptical about products to last longer in bed since so many are hoaxes and so many failed me. But solving the problem in my mind rather than with pills or products was exactly the trick. My partner pretended not to mind I couldn't penetrate for more than 3 minutes, but I could tell it was just to be kind. I am the less experienced of the two of us, and I couldn't help feeling inadequate compared to previous partners. But after solving my problem by changing the way my mind works in terms of sex, I no longer need to fear that I am a disappointment in bed, as I'm always the second to finish. I'm happy to know I can give someone I love the sexual satisfaction they deserve. By learning what I teach you inside the program, you'll get back behind the wheel and see improvements in your stamina immediately after using a few of the techniques and exercises. Best of all, you will get rid of all the frustration that is piled upon you because you will no longer have to worry about lasting long enough to satisfy your partner in bed. That is my promise to you. So, if you're ready to eliminate the troubles and break free from the anxiety that's been holding you back from having an incredible sex life, I have the answer for you. Of course, I'm sure you have your doubts. After all, there are many products out there claiming they could help you last longer in bed. So, why should you choose my program? Because if you do nothing, you will continue to suffer through the shame, humiliation, and depression that comes from premature ejaculation. And if you take the alternative route, buying creams, pills, and other products that provide nothing more than a temporary fix, you'll be flushing money down the toilet, continuously shelling out your hard-earned cash for things that don't even address the root cause of the issue. But if you invest in my program, you'll have just a one-time payment, and that'll be it. Within a few weeks, you will get rid of this problem and its underlying causes for good. Ask yourself right now, how much would you be willing to pay to eliminate this problem forever? What would it be worth for you to have the ability to please any woman in bed? To have women begging for your sex instead of leaving after one night? $500, $1,000, $5,000? Well, with my program, you won't pay anything close to that. You can put an end to all the pain, frustration, and embarrassment that comes with ejaculating too quickly for only $67. That's it. And once you order, you will have immediate access to the program. You can view it right from your computer, tablet, or smartphone right away. And once you have it, it's yours for good. You will have full access 24/7 for life. Rest assured your order will be as secure and discreet as possible. It will be processed through a company called ClickBank, which is the world's largest and most secure retailer of digital products. This charge on your statement will show up as ClickBank, and there will be no mention of the Ultimate Stamina Control Program. Your purchase will be 100% discreet. From there, once you get access to the program, you'll have 60 days to give it a test drive. If you're unhappy with it for any reason, or for no reason at all, send us an email and you'll receive a full refund. That's right, you're covered with a 100% money-back guarantee for the full 60 days. You have absolutely nothing to lose. So ask yourself, are you sick and tired of trying everything in order to last longer? Do you want to experience long-lasting pleasure while offering multiple orgasms to your partner? Haven't you been through enough humiliation? Don't you feel like you can do more and experience more? Would you like to stop being afraid that your girlfriend or wife might leave you for another more viable man? If you want a satisfying sex life, you must act now, not 20 years from now when it's too late. Do something with your life while you still can. Waiting for a miracle obviously doesn't work, and if you keep delaying this choice, it'll only get worse. One day you might even reach a point where you're so depressed you won't even want to improve your sex life. That is exactly why I've put this program together. I want all of that to stop, and I want everyone to be able to enjoy sex the way they're supposed to. The system has taken enough from you. I intend to change the way you approach sex and make you substantially better at it. This program is not like all the others. It doesn't sell anything. It has no affiliation with the medical system. It's not written by a fake expert who just likes to see his name on a piece of paper. No. It was created by a regular man like you who fought the same battles as you and found a way to come out victorious. I made this program to be your own personal guide, a guide that will lead you to the long-lasting sex that both you and your partner have been looking for. Once you get access to my program and try the techniques and exercises, you'll be able to last longer within the first week. The first couple of days you'll only last for 5, maybe 10 minutes longer, which isn't much, but is still a massive improvement from where you're at now. But as you continue to follow the program, your stamina will increase exponentially. Within a few weeks, you'll find yourself able to last long enough to give a woman multiple orgasms during sex. After mastering all the techniques and exercises the program outlines, you will gain full control over your ejaculation, making you able to have sex for as long as you want. You will never need to worry about losing your partner because she'll become addicted to the pleasure you offer her. The Ultimate Stamina Control Program has the power to change your life. It will eliminate the stress and frustration that you've accumulated, and it will give you a sense of accomplishment. You'll be able to face your friends with your head held high, because you'll have no reason to feel ashamed. You will be able to take home women and give them the time of their lives. Don't hesitate any longer. Take what may seem like a small step, but what will later become a huge leap in your sex life, and click the Order Now button below this video. Fill out the form that follows with your name and payment information, and you'll get instant access to this life-changing program.